Good day, everyone. Welcome to our virtual class in Social Studies, Grade 9A and B. Your teacher here, Miss Michelle Joy. This video is made for students who would like to repeat and have a revision about our topic that we just discussed, and especially for the students who are not able to join us in virtual class. So class, before we start with our topic or discussion this week, let's have a short recap of the last topics that we have discussed last week, and that is about sentence or punishment. What is punishment? It is an action or penalty that is imposed on a person for breaking a rule or showing improper conduct. Punishment aims to control behavior through negative means. So, plus punishment is given to a person who committed a crime. Objectives of the lesson. So, the first one, class, is students must be able to know what a civil law is. And the second one, students must be able to know the types of a civil law. So class, moving on with our topic for today, it is about sentence. So these are the words to learn that we will be discussing before we go through our discussion, because this will help us to better understand our topic for today. Number one, civil law. Number two, dispute. Number three, individual. Number four, organization. And number five, malpractice. So what do you mean by civil law? The law regulating non-criminal activities between and among individuals and corporations. Next, dispute. It means quarrel or conflict, fight, wrangle, squabble, challenge, disagreement, argument, debate, and altercation. Next word, individual. Individual means a person, singular, personal, separate, particular, mortal, soul, single, special, and specific. The fourth word is organization. It means concern, business organization, legal entity, corporate body, usually large and megacorp. And the last word that we have, malpractice. It means negligence, carelessness, misconduct, wrongdoing, mismanagement, misbehavior, transgression, dereliction, and misdeed. So these five words are going to help us better understand our topic for today.
Civil law, also known as private law or tort law, regulates disputes between individuals. The main purpose of criminal law is to punish offenders while protecting society. The main purpose of civil law is to compensate for harm, usually in the form of damages. Money is awarded to a plaintiff for harm, loss, or injury. The plaintiff is a person or party that initiates the lawsuit. The defendant is the party that must respond to the lawsuit. Typical civil actions or lawsuits fall under these categories. Tort law. These are injuries or harm created by one person to another's body, reputation, or property. Tort is derived from a Latin word meaning twisted or wrong. Family law includes personal disputes that involve marriage, divorce, child custody, adoption, and support claims. Contract law is failing to fulfill the terms of an agreement, such as non-payment for a service. Labor law are disputes in the workplace, such as wrongful dismissal and unpaid overtime. Property law covers disputes about ownership or maintenance of property. Many crimes can also become torts. If a person is convicted of a crime, the victim does not usually gain from that personally. In many cases, a person can be sued in addition to being charged. For example, a person who is charged with an assault may also be sued by the victim for battery. If successful, the victim will receive compensation directly. Other common examples include the crime of break and enter and the tort of trespass to land, crime of theft, and the tort of trespass to goods.
Now, class, let us proceed to discussing what is civil law. Please open your books on page 44. Civil law takes care of disputes between individuals or organizations. It seeks to pursue redress or money that someone has to pay to someone else because they have injured them or treated them badly. It applies to cases of negligence or malpractice. So, class, as I have been telling you, civil law is a dispute between a person to another person, a person to an organization, or organization to another organization. Usually, civil law problems with people. Types of civil law. Please open your social studies book on page 44. Number 1, contract law. It controls everything from buying ticket to trading on money market. The second one, property law, regulates the transfer and title of personal property and real property. Number 3, trust law, applies to assets held for investment and financial security. So class, when you say contract law, it is a contract between a person to another person. Let's say, for example, if you're going to the cinema, of course, you're going to buy a ticket, and in exchange to the ticket, you have to pay money. Property law, example, you buy an asset, a car or a house, then if you already fully pay the car and the house, then the certificate or the ownership will be transferred onto your name. Trust law class, example is you are below 18 years old and you have a big amount of money, you can put it inside the bank, and within a certain period of time, the bank is going to keep it for you. Moving on to the fourth type of law, which is tort law. It allows claims for compensation if a person's property is harmed. Number 5, constitutional law provides a framework for the creation of law, the protection of human rights, and the election of political representatives. Number 6, administrative law. It is used to interview the decisions of government agencies. And the last one, international law, governs affairs between sovereign states in activities ranging from trade to military action. So class, tort law is actually another term for civil law. You have to pay the person if you damage its property, her or his property, I should say. Constitutional law class, it is a law provided by the government agencies for people to follow, and of course, it is done for the protection of human. Administrative law is a decision of government agencies, and of course, international law is law that is being done internationally. Now, class, moving on, let us proceed to civil law versus criminal law, or the difference of civil law and criminal law. This is on page 45 of your book. So, civil law, criminal law. So, civil law is defined as dealing with the dispute between individuals, organizations, or between the two in which compensation is awarded to the victim. Examples, landlord disputes, divorce proceedings, child custody proceedings, property disputes, and personal injury. Now let's go to criminal law. It is the system of law that deals with crime and the legal punishment of criminal offenses. Examples, theft, assault, robbery, trafficking drugs, and murder. Now, class, let us proceed to civil law again and criminal law differences. So, punishment for civil law. Civil cases usually involve some types of compensation or money for injuries or damages. The case is filed by a private party against another party, where in criminal law, the punishment is a guilty defendant is punished by incarceration, fines, or in exceptional cases, the death penalty. The case is filed by the government against the defendant. So as you can see here, class, civil law and criminal law is very much different because civil law is a dispute between people. Criminal law, it is actually a government against a certain person or a certain group of people. So class, what is law? Law continually grow and are subject to change based on the morals and values of time. The basic purpose of these laws is always to bring justice to those who have intentionally caused harm to others and protect the citizens of every country. So class law was made to protect the people of every country. And so it should not have a war or violence because the law will stop people from doing violent things or dangerous things. Class, we now come to the end of our discussion and it's time for us to answer the following questions. Number one, define the term civil law. You can use the definition of the term civil law in your book or you can write how you understood it when we were discussing. Next, write the 7 types of civil law. We now come to the end of our discussion. If you have any question, suggestion, or comment about our topic, you can always send me a message in my personal line account and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Goodbye everyone, stay safe, and I'll see you again next time.